She wanted somebody else for her beloved Oliver. A nice, plump country girl who liked horses instead of some skinny businesswoman from London. She's never forgiven me for capturing Oliver's heart. Vanessa shook her head as if trying to dislodge her negative thoughts as she ventured towards Dolly's rooms in the south wing. Dolly was an early riser and had breakfast long before anybody else was up, then spent most of the rest of the day in her living room during the winter. Reaching her living room door, Vanessa took a deep breath and tentatively knocked. An immediate sound of barking was heard. It was Reynolds, Dolly's Jack Russell, who also didn't like Vanessa. Named after Dolly's favourite painter, Reynolds was a typical terrier with an instinct to protect and an addiction to ankles. Tilda and Jassy adored him and his half-white, half-chestnut face, but Vanessa sincerely believed that Dolly had trained him to hate her. "Who is it?" Dolly's voice came from behind the door after Vanessa knocked for the second time. "It's me, Vanessa." She opened the door and walked in. It was a beautiful room with an ornate plasterwork ceiling and a large fireplace in which a wood-burning stove had been installed to keep it cosy in the cooler months. There were some very nice pieces of furniture too, pieces that had been hauled in there soon after Oliver's death, as if Dolly didn't quite trust Vanessa with them, as well as a fine 18th century portrait by Sir Joshua Reynolds. Dolly wasn't going to leave that anywhere near her daughter-in-law. "What do you want?" Dolly asked. She was sitting in an armchair by a window which overlooked the garden. In the spring, Dolly had a fine view of the glorious magnolia tree in bloom, and in the summer she enjoyed the colours of the herbaceous border, which she could see comfortably from her chair. "I've come to have a little talk," Vanessa said, fixing a smile on her face as she took a seat in the chair next to Dolly's. Reynolds, who was sitting by his mistress's feet, growled at her, baring his nasty little teeth. "Are you okay, Dolly? Your hair looks pretty this morning," she said. She never knew what to say to the old woman, and invariably said the wrong thing. "Never mind the nonsense," Dolly snapped. "Tell me what you've got to say." "It's about the house," Vanessa began hesitantly. "The girls and I have been talking, and we've made a decision." "A decision without me?" "Well, I'm here now to run it by you." "And what's this decision?" The old woman narrowed her eyes. She had once been very beautiful, with a lovely round face and thick mahogany-coloured hair, and Oliver, her only child, had adored her. But Vanessa's relationship with Dolly had always been somewhat prickly, so she was understandably anxious about talking to her now. "You know how we've been struggling, bills and things, running Orley. I've never known anyone mismanage a house quite like you do," Dolly said cruelly. "I haven't mismanaged anything, Dolly. You know as well as I do that these big old houses are expensive to keep. And, well, we need to be able to ensure its future for Tilda and Jasmine. We need to know that it'll be in sound condition for us to pass it on to them, don't we? Just as when you and Robert handed it to Oliver. And we simply can't do that without a huge injection of cash. Our combined incomes are laughably low, and we think it might be in the best interests of everyone if we sold half of the house." Vanessa paused, waiting for the tirade that would follow, and was quite surprised when Dolly said nothing at all. The old woman simply stared at her. Vanessa swallowed hard. "We're thinking of the north wing. The rooms are large and very beautiful. It has its own entrance as well as the main front door. There's a separate garden, and I think it would make a really wonderful home for somebody. We hardly ever use that wing, and it would raise an enormous amount of money for us." She stopped, her heart racing and her head thumping. At last, Dolly spoke. "You always were trouble," she told Vanessa. "I knew the minute you arrived from London with your city ways. I told Oliver, that one will be the end of Orley." "You did not," Vanessa said, shocked by the admission. "Anyway, this is Tilda's idea," she said, feeling awful for trying to put the blame on her daughter, but perhaps Dolly would feel better about the decision if she knew it had come from a blood relative. "And I think it's a very good one." "This isn't your home," Dolly said.